Oh, hey friend. Fancy meeting you here. I was just doing some work here in the Dean House heirloom garden. In the Lincoln's time in Springfield, almost every family, including Lincoln's, had what is known as a kitchen garden. It was important that they grew food to supplement their meat diets, and that they had fruits and vegetables that they could store or preserve for the lean winter months. An example would be this heirloom crookneck yellow summer squash. Today, I thought we would cook up some food like the Lincolns would have had in their garden, and then perhaps in the same way that Mrs. Lincoln did. I'll see you in the kitchen.
Today, we will be cooking some yellow summer squash. There are two varieties of squash, summer and winter. Winter squash has a thicker rind, which allows it to be stored for months once harvested in a cool, dry place, such as a root cellar. Summer squash has a thin rind, and once harvested, does not last for very long unless refrigerated. In Ms. Eliza Leslie's cookbook, the one we discussed in a prior video, there is a general remarks section about vegetables, which includes general cooking directions, prep, and a statement that
every sort of culinary vegetable is infinitely best when fresh from the garden and gathered as short a time as possible before it is cooked.
In this book is a large assortment of recipes for many varieties of vegetables, but there is only one recipe for summer squash.
Squashes or cymlings. The green or summer squash is best when the outside is beginning to turn yellow, as it is then less watery and insipid than when younger. Wash them, cut them into pieces, and take out the seeds. Boil them about 3/4 of an hour or till quite tender. When done, drain and squeeze them well till you have pressed out all the water. Mash them with a little butter, pepper, and salt. Then put the squash thus prepared into a stew pan. Set it on hot coals and stir it frequently till it becomes dry. Take care not to let it burn.
That seems like a simple enough recipe. What do you say we try it? I thought you'd agree. Well, we're not going to be able to cook in here. Let's try a more appropriate location.
That's not right. Let's try this again.
Here we are. Let's get to cooking.
For this recipe, you'll need some summer squash, salt, pepper, and butter. You'll need a pot to cook in, knife and cutting board, strainer, utensils, and safety gear. Here you can see me seeding the squash and cutting it up into manageable pieces per the recipe. Here, I'm dumping the squash into the cooking vessel with water and a little bit of salt. We brought the squash to a boil and cooked it for 45 minutes. Once the squash had boiled, we strained it in the sink. Then we returned the strained squash back into the cooking vessel and added some salt, pepper, and butter. I then mashed it with the masher and cooked according to the recipe until dry. And here's the finished product. Look at how delicious that squash looks.
Let's see how it tastes, shall we? Smells pretty good. Still very hot. Tastes kind of like a salty, buttery, peppery, mashed squash. Not bad. I'd eat it again, but I would probably throw some red pepper flakes in there. I know. Perfect. you back in Mrs. Lincoln's kitchen. Well, that was certainly an interesting recipe, one I've never tried before. Have you ever tried squash prepared in this way? Imagine what it would have been like cooking on this stove, and how much more difficult it would have been. Although the stove was top of the line when the Lincolns first purchased it, maintaining and modulating temperature with a cast iron wood burning stove would have been difficult, perhaps even an art form. Do you have a tried and true recipe that you use for squash or other vegetables from your garden? Do you have a garden? And if so, what do you grow? Better still, tell us about a time when you tried a recipe for the very first time, as we're looking forward to hearing from you in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a like and a share, and if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our channel for more Lincoln Home content. And we'll see you next time on At Home with the Lincolns.